I think what's happening is that we're trying to be ambiguous because the legal precision carries with it real implications. And this is why people have been coming to us and saying we need clarity. Is the token itself a security? Or is it part of an investment contract? Is it being sold together with an investment contract? If it is, what is that investment contract and how long does it track along with the token? By using imprecise language, we've been able to sort of suggest that the token itself is a security apart from that investment contract, which has implications for secondary sales. It has implications for who can list it. And I think this is absolutely, we've fallen down on our duty as a regulator not to be precise. And so tucking into a footnote that, yes, we admit that now actually the token itself is not a security, that's something that we should have admitted long ago and then started wrestling with the difficult questions.
This new American industrialism will create millions and millions of jobs, massively raise wages for American workers, and make the United States into a manufacturing powerhouse like it used to be many years ago. We will be able to build ships again. We will be able to build airplanes at a much higher level again. We will become the world leader in robotics and every other field. The U.S. auto industry, which has been decimated over many, many decades, will once again be the envy of the planet.
What Trump wants to do is create an American manufacturing powerhouse and using tariffs as a way to level the playing field. Yeah, I think Trump's tariff plans are well-founded. When you look at the economists, they like the concept of free trade, but we don't live in a free trade world. U.S. has minimal barriers to import into the U.S., but we face substantial both financial, tariff, and non-tariff barriers when we try and export. So as a result, in 2022, we had a $1.2 trillion merchandise trade deficit. We've lost thousands of factories, millions of jobs to foreigners because of the unfair trade competition. So what Trump wants to do is create an American manufacturing powerhouse and using tariffs as a way to level the playing field. So in the case of Deere, we now have a merchandise trade deficit of $150 billion with Mexico. Many U.S. factories are closing U.S. plants, relocating to Mexico, taking advantage of the cheap labor, and then importing the goods duty-free back in the U.S. What does that do for America? So by using tariffs strategically, we can strengthen American manufacturing and increase real wages for American workers.
So, but what do you think of Deere's, for example, comment last night, which was to point people to the idea that there are certain types of manufacturing that they believe may even have lower value, if you will, lower value add, and that they want to sort of move up the chain. They want that to happen in the United States. They believe that the other manufacturing should happen elsewhere, and that it would hurt ultimately the company if they weren't able to do it this way.
Well, when you look at overall the policies, what you see is a hollowed out American manufacturing base. And we need to protect American jobs and protect American manufacturing. So the policies we have now are not leading to that outcome. We can't have American producers closing American factories and offshoring. July had another record merchandise trade deficit. So Trump's plan is to bring jobs back to America, bring manufacturing back to America, create incentives to produce in America, and that will result in more jobs and higher wages for Americans.
And you don't think it turns into a tariff war? I ask because we've gotten emails from viewers, some farmers in the Midwest who've said, look, what they worry about is actually that other countries are going to say, well, we don't want your exports, or we're going to tariff your exports. And so that it creates this sort of a race either to the bottom or to the top in terms of cost.
Yeah, that's the problem we have now. They've put in tariffs and non-tariff barriers for us, and we've done nothing about it. So it's a one-way street, and we have to make it a two-way street. And we have to protect American manufacturers the same way foreigners are protecting their domestic markets.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you join the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you head in the Cash App. And guys, make sure you go like and follow the TikTok. And we have the SEC's Hester on SEC calling crypto securities. Now, guys, we see the tide is turning. And of course, Gary Gensler and her were playing the Hegelian dialectic right in front of the sheep. And we see the politicians are now on the crypto side. But again, we know politicians are nothing but paid puppets. They know all about the fourth industrial revolution and the new digital economy that's being built behind the curtain. And once we get this new administration in, you're going to see regulation, legislation get passed on through, because we know the emerging markets are ready to flip the switch on the fourth industrial revolution. And we had Trump wanted to say the new fourth industrial revolution. But guys, you don't want those type of manufacturing jobs. You don't want to be working those type of jobs. Only thing you have to do is look overseas. Look at Foxconn. They got to put nets around the building. And they know you're not going to work it. That's the reason why they're going to be giving you the free money to sit at home. And that's why they're allowing all these immigrants to come in. Because they already know the job and they don't mind working it. So the jobs the robots, algorithms, and drones can't do, they'll get the immigrants to do the rest. Because remember, we're going to a level playing field. They have to devalue the dollar. Remember, Trump talked about it so many times. And this deficit has to get under control. And they're going to turn this $35 trillion into equity and start passing out free money. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And we have Caroline Ellison sentenced to 2 years, and she has to give up $11 billion. And guys, if you think that she has $11 billion, you definitely need to get checked out. Remember, this is nothing but a movie. It was just a way to consolidate the space and kick the regulation can down the road. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And guys, we know, during the biblical days, to control information and knowledge, they burn the books. And today's time, everything's online. Now they got algorithms, and they can put you on the back page, so therefore you'll never be heard or never be seen. And you can take this channel for an example, because you know when I first started, we were getting 18,000 on the average views. 18,000, that is correct. The only thing I have to do is go back to see when I first started. And it's dwindling on down, because all they have to do is move you to the back. They know that people don't want knowledge in the first place. Remember, my people perish from the lack of knowledge because they reject it. Remember, guys, it's not because it's not there. It's right at our fingertips, but the people reject it. They care about things that don't matter. But America to Babylon is about to crumble along with that world reserve currency. And we're going to see the rise of the BRICS nations led by China with that digital yuan backed by that digital SDR. And remember, the Crypto Teacher wrote about it a long time ago and told you a long time ago. Because he knew when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Morgan, so we just heard from the judge in the case with Caroline Ellison. She's been sentenced to 24 months in prison, 3 years of supervised release after that. Also an $11 billion forfeiture. Now, this is beyond what we thought we were going to get here. The probation department had suggested 3 years of supervised release, no jail time, because Caroline has spent almost 2 years now cooperating with the government and Freed's empire to be sentenced. Sam got 25 years. They both were guilty of the same 7 charges. And we had another executive, Ryan Salem, who got a 7.5-year sentence, which was beyond the scope of what even the prosecution was asking for. There are 2 more big names that we're waiting to hear from. Their sentencings are at the end of October and then in November. That's Gary Wong, the co-founder of FTX, and then Nishad Singh. They both were cooperators with the government. But the fact that Caroline, who's really the star witness who helped to put Sam Bankman-Fried behind bars.
You've indicated there's a transaction where a Soros-backed group would take ownership of over 200 radio stations across 40 different markets after the FCC originally indicating that that transaction could be reviewed and approved at the bureau level without a commission vote. It's now become clear that that is a decision before the full commission, and it's one that I would assume now or in the near future the commission would approve. I think what's interesting about it is that the FCC here is not following its normal process for reviewing a transaction. We have established over a number of years one way in which you can get approval from the FCC when you have in excess of 25% foreign ownership, which this transaction does. And it seems to me that the FCC is poised to create, for the first time, an entirely new shortcut.
Yeah, thank you. As you pointed out here and previously, these proceedings for transfer of ownership have been expedited. What exactly makes this case so deserving of an expedited proceeding so far, from what you could tell?
There is nothing about this transaction that is out of the ordinary. It's the type of thing that we see all the time, and the FCC has a process for this. The full commission itself has never signed off on a shortcut like this. What we usually do is we require people to file a petition with us. We bring in national security agencies. They can review the foreign ownership. It's probably no big deal here, but we review that foreign ownership, and then we vote. Here, they're trying to do something that's never been done before at the commission level.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go, but clearly we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting it more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told his members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will. During that auction that we saw a little bit before, the attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets. Now,
it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy. And you know, when the dealers have to step in to save a Treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books, It's Time to Re-Educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.